online. All right, your standard session of chart mastery. I'm gonna cover BTC. I'm gonna cover Ether, S&P, QQQ, and then we're gonna talk about any other tickers you guys have. I'll take ticker requests, whether it's stock or crypto. We can cover metals too, indices, and so forth. Over the weekend, didn't signal much. It did post like an Ether level to interact with. Like yesterday morning and last night, we got the ring. You should tweet about this one too. I said yes, ETH, maybe yes, maybe no. I think I see something at this level, and I put the chart for reference. And we were right at 28.48. The long signal I gave in Discord was at 28.45, and we've turned up from there. I'll cover that chart next, but for now, let's take a look at BTC, see what's happening. We saw the initial move, right? And when we saw this move starting to develop, said, hey, we could see a 61.8 retracement. And that played out, right? And we saw the initial pullback, right? We saw 44,740 act as resistance, and then we saw it reject down. We saw the initial pullback, and I tried to measure it to find support where we actually did, right? Right here at like 41,600, 41,640. And I couldn't find any significant levels, right? So the only thing that I found was potentially a setup that I'm seeing for BTC to rally a little bit higher. So we're going to see a little bit more of a continuation, right? So the only place I found support at 41,462, right? 41,462 right here was this bearish swing retracement. So from this swing high to this swing low, right? That gives us 23.6 in terms of retracing back up towards that swing high, right? And we found support. This is the 23.6 level, which leads me to conclude that if 41,462 holds, right, if we do see this act as support, right, I do believe that the next target's going to be 50K, and then the next one's going to be 55, right? I think that's what it's looking like is staging up for. A bigger retracement, right? Because other than that, I don't see a big reason for us to hold over here other than if this fib is valid, then the market is trading the swing. So it's a really good indication, really good indication. I did not have a long signal here. I'm still looking for an entry. I might find a smaller 61.8 like we did on ETH last night, right when I sent out that tweet. Speaking of, if you guys don't have any more questions about BTC, I'm going to go over the ETH chart. I think I covered BTC extensively, so let's do that. Let's do ETH. So going in the weekend, right, going into the weekend, or prior to the weekend, I said same thing. You know, we're going to try to short. I didn't quite get shorts up here, even though I was eyeing that level. I wanted to short it, and I tried. I think I stopped once, so I just stopped, right? Once my stop hit, I stopped trying to, and I figured I'm just going to buy the dip because I do think we're going to see a different type of swing up. And we got in right at that 61.8, right? And it was just the last swing low. Basically, the long I signaled, if you're wondering why I signaled it and why it's held up so far at 28.45, right, was this continuation 61.8. I remember Saturday we got close to it, right? And I said, hey, like I didn't signal here. I said, hey, we're looking for 28.45. And I waited the first test, and I signaled it after the second test, and with a stop like 28.28, 28.29, right? And we're still in this, and it's looking decent. It looks like the trend lines are breaking. I'd want to see more continuation. I did post the targets in Discord on this one, and it's done decently well. I think it's up like 4%. Let's do this. So, yeah, it's up 4%. And I do have like two conservative targets on this one, right? And let's treat them that way until further notice, right? So let's just be conservative with the profit taking. So T1 is 31.16, and then T2 is a little bigger swing, much bigger swing. And then we're looking for the larger 61.8, all right? And T2 is going to be 38.27, right? So we're looking like a 40% move type thing. Why would I still be bullish? You know, I don't know, the fact that these 61.8s are holding, right? We're going to expect continuation until otherwise. I feel like at this point, longing down here and then like hedging here, maybe the next swing high, the previous swing high, would be the wisest play, right? And that's kind of what I'm doing, trying to position for a break in either direction. And we did see that pivot to the upside, and yeah, some decent candles this morning. Not the most exciting ones, but some of these coming out of some of these corrections, it hasn't been very swift. Like coming out of here, right? It hasn't been a swift rally. It's almost been like very hesitant. Even on the daily. Right, even on the daily, we usually have like a good strong first day, and I don't know if we're gonna get the Valentine's love out of the chart, right, or not. But if we do get a continuation here, I'm confident in trading that swing. Let's look at SPY and QQQ. Start with ES. What do we see here, right? On this last swing, we're seeing the 61.8 on the daily get bought back up, right? So if we get a doji close here today, then I'd assume continuation, even though we did have these two pretty bad days. And some of this is like Russia, Ukraine, FUD. But I'm not going to say war is bullish, but I'm going to say that geopolitical tensions tend to like save the market from big drops, right? Like the invasion of Iraq was the bottom of the last bear market, literally to the day. And yeah, so I'm not saying it's bullish, but I'm not too concerned with like geopolitical tensions. In terms of BTC, I think it's good for BTC. Let's just stay objective on here, and then I'll dive into some Russia, Ukraine, what I think could happen in crypto. Anyway, so looking at the ES, we're seeing same thing, a little similar to what we saw in ETH, right? So the market does this new swing, and it's trying to do a bullish continuation off of 61.8. So this could have been a bear trap, and we're likely to see a reattempted take at 45.86 as long as we get above 45.46. That's on the ES. And Q, tech been sold to dirt, right? I've been saying like it's time to long tech. You should long tech. We should be trying to position here because this has been selling off a little further than the S&P. And you look at big names, they're completely decimated, like Facebook, Netflix, PayPal. There's a lot of room for upside, especially in the index, because one of those indices starts squeezing. Or one of these big names that are part of the index starts squeezing, and then we could see a really big move, right? And looking at this breakout retest, so we had this range. I'm just going to highlight the range and show you guys why I went with that swing low and that swing high. So we had a range here, and a range breakout and a range retest. So you take this continuation swing low, right, into this next move. And yeah, we want to start seeing some more of a, even if it's a bear market rally, right? We still want to see that nice 61.8 larger dead cat bounce, which should put us at like 15,526 in terms of QQQ. No, most of us are not trading the futures. We're trading the indices themselves, the ETFs. So we're looking for 380, right? We can get above 356. Once you're above there, I think 380 is the next target. All right, wham bam. That covers BTC, Ether, SPY, QQQ. I do want to talk about some things that we saw in 2019. I think 2019. Yeah, 2019. We saw the sanction waivers on Iran expire, right? And they expired like the first week of April, right? And what that meant was that there was waivers and there was sanctions, so people couldn't really, nations couldn't buy oil from Iran, and they were still buying oil. And we do think, we have this theory that crypto was used to move some money around from like China to Iran, and to help continue that larger 61.8. So one thing I'm thinking is that if we do get sanctions on Russia, we're probably going to see a similar infrastructure system where like April, I think like May 1st, 2019 is when sanctions expired on Iran, or the waivers expired, so sanctions fully kicked in, and that's when we saw that like nice extended swing up. So we're seeing something like that now. If we do get some kind of sanctions on Russia, I'm expecting something similar to take effect. Probably a rally in metals too. Even though I'd been waiting on a liquidity grab for gold, I think I missed my opportunity, right? So I'm trying to find like a down day to get in. And I did chart this the other day just for myself, and I did miss opportunities at the 61.8. So it kind of, we'll see if if you get another nice pullback, but these were pretty good buys, right? And that's why I like to long these 61.8s. And if you compare this chart now, this was March 2021, right? And where it was in respect to that red line, and we look at something like Ether, which I signaled yesterday, in respect to a swing continuation. It's on a smaller time frame, right? But it was also a red line, right? And a similar type of swing continuation. So that's why I like longing these red lines and waiting, right? Yeah. All right. That's all I have for the majors. Look behind me, get some stock ideas. You guys have tickers you want to ask me about, please ask me about them. The longer you engage me in the stream, the longer I'm here. Yeah. Look behind me. Hopefully you guys have some tickers for me. Yeah, things are looking shaky, market looks indecisive, right? But let's look at like Luna. We got in on a 61.8 on Luna. I did tweet about this one, right? And this one was also a trend break retest type move. Bam. And I believe this was the 61.8 of this move. Sure was, right? 46.89, a little higher. And now we want to see this chart try to get above 58.6, right? On the smaller swing, on this last continuation swing, there was a bearish 61.8. So here I'm looking a little wary. You want to see a break of 54.33, and I feel like Luna's been leading these bounces. We could possibly see another move down. It would look similar to the last bottom we saw. We had like a 5 count pullback. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I know I've seen this type of descending broadening wedge action on Luna in the past. And yeah, I'll just highlight it. And this one was a 5 count. Right, but there's also a bullish continuation within this bearish continuation, so I feel like we should see a break in one direction or the other this week to help us get a better indication on what exactly is happening, right? And so far this token's been pretty hard to short, especially when these rallies start. So we'll see how it goes. XRP looked interesting today. Looking at the daily, right, I think we had a trend break and a rally and then some kind of pullback. So definitely had a trend break, right? Trend line broke and it retested. Full disclaimer, I do have a small XRP long. So based on this retest, right, off this trend retest, if we do a retracement, we're seeing the 61.8 try to hold. So I think another move to 78, 72 with a retest there, and if bulls come back in, I'd say like this would be a good long. I'd probably be comfortable signaling it on the next test if it holds, right? And we zoom out on something like this, and yeah, we could be setting up for a rally, and this would be like buying the pullback 61.8 of the retest. All right, let's cover some stocks. Look at Tesla. I'm gonna look at Tesla, Apple. Maybe look at Microsoft. Tesla did a major 61.8, just like what that gold move did, just like what ETH did, right? We did see 61.8 and a hold at 808, which was good, right? I mean, I tweeted about this at bottom too, said, hey, Tesla, this is your bottom. And it's held up, right? It's held up. We definitely want to see another close above 892. Like that would be critical for bulls. Actually, close above 906 would be even better, right? Then we would bypass this bearish 61.8 and we can start thinking about taking the bigger swing up to 1,000, right? Or 993. That would be the next target right here. But this price action, last 4 hours of price action looked pretty good. Looks decent. Bulls fought and brought price back up, and it looks like there is another 61.8 within, right? So we're starting to see these red lines hold, these bullish 61.8s hold, and that's good, especially after bearish 61.8s failing. That lets us know that the market is getting ready to maybe range trade, right? Oh, that's not. So maybe we do something like this, and we do this for a little while before we get the next break. So I'd expect little chop, little noise. It's going to be important to long support and not try to long breakouts, right? And then like take profit at resistance and kind of treat it like a range trade until it's not. We could be seeing something like what we saw back here starting to develop, right? It looks like it's shaping up similarly. What's Apple doing today? Apple's part of the spine, part of the QQQ. A nice 50% retrace, right? I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at. So I'm seeing a 50% retrace on Apple. It's actually just shy of the 50%. That bounce at 165 from the other day. Now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback to the upside, right? So intraday, if you wanted to like short this, it's 170, right? That could possibly be the top. If you do a trend line there, maybe, yeah, it's right at that trend line. So if we get up to 170 and we fail, then we could probably see a down move, because everything else is bouncing off their respective 61.8 retracements, which are my red lines. I think a good long entry on Apple would be like 163. That would be a level I'd want to interact with. Look at Ford. That also did a deep retrace last week. I did say 17.5 should be support. We're retesting that again. So hopefully we see this and act as support. If we don't, it is time to kind of adjust stops and set alerts and say, hey, you know what? This breaks down. I don't want to bag hold, right? But if this stays up here, then we're actually trading the continuation. So definitely interesting. And it was, I think, an earnings miss on, looks like a miss, 8%. Ooh, yeah, a pretty bad miss. Not as bad as Facebook, not as bad as some other names that are heavily clapped, right? Super clapped. Facebook's down once again below the 61.8, below Friday's close price action. I had 221. Looks terrible until it doesn't, right? I mean, we do want to get a weekly close above 222. Should help. Any kind of move in Facebook should help push indices back up, right? Probably same thing on PayPal. Not weight as heavily, but we're seeing 115 start to hold. We want to see some kind of bear rally, like bear market rally, some kind of relief rally. Let's call it that. Just back to the upside. So basically shorts covering, right? Bringing in bulls to like bring price back up a little and do a bull trap maybe before continuing down. Looking to take a look at Roblox. Jeez Louise, man, this thing was bubbling. So what's going on with Roblox? Let's find the top and then try to find the bottom. I'm trying to find structure to this chart, right? And we kind of get a top of 136. We see support at 92. See resistance is 71. Something like this is going to be tricky, right? Because this is the first time we see savage sell-off. 3 back-to-back red earnings. Decent surprise here on revenue, but EPS was bad. I'm gonna try to stay objective here, right? So if I was trying to find an extension down here to counter trade, my first place to look would be off this swing low before this up move, right? So what we're gonna do is you're gonna place our 100% here, our 0 up high, and that gives us a target of 59, right? What happened at 59? We saw price action get below 59, and then a doji, and then volume coming up higher, right? So now something like Roblox, how would I trade it? What is my next perceived move? Are we going to see a bearish continuation, right? Bearish continuation is going to happen at a 61.8, which most optimally going to happen at 61.8. So it's going to be the red line on the way down, and it looks like we're right at it, right? So, if Roblox was bearish, right, I would expect it to reject here. I would expect like maybe some wicks here and then another breakdown. But if it was bullish, then we're going to get a close above. But if we do get like a close above and start breaking up again, or like channeling up, closing above the 61.8, that would be a good indication. If not, then it might be a good short. It might be a good entry for a short continuation. Yeah, that's all I have on this chart. Ideally, it squeezes higher. It is past the trend line, right? Not like super aggressive or anything, but like this last trend line, which was pretty drastic, right? Like that is, it's like bearish almost, right? It's going straight down. And then we had the retest, the up move. It looks like an Adam and Eve, man. Price action looks decent, right? This looks like the Adam. A right here, and then the Eve is a little shallower bull, right? Looks like it could be doing some kind of compound bottom. Really important though is going to be that close above. What's up, Paris? Above 70. All right, I've rambled too much on this. If you don't close above 70, this thing's going to continue down. That's objectively what I see. All right, you guys got any more tickers for me? What do we got on Discord? Let's look at indices again. Where's the closest 61.8? Because we're seeing some kind of bounce out attack, right? I think it has more upside. I think there's more upside in tech, at least out of the QQQ. Yeah, I mean, continuation over here to the downside would be shit. I think we at least test 353, and if we don't keep going up, that would be a place to buy some puts or SQQQ calls. But until then, I'd let it run. LTC USD coming right up, serving it up for Paris on the trading view. All right, Litecoin, man, so much data on these charts. Let me just clear some of this, make it cleaner. Come on. I'm gonna stretch this guy out. And these are lines that I've laid on like pretty long ago, right? Man, this looks descending, broadening, wedgy. So it looks like descending, broadening, which typically they like to break upwards, right? Like this would be, all things aside, this is a bit of a bullish formation. Do we have a 5 count? Maybe we have our 1. Nope, that's not a valid 2. So we have like our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe. It's nice to see 120.7 hold. Like that is really good that it's holding, right? It's a long-term fib level. And this is from this previous retracement, right? So it's basically holding above like 2019 resistance. It's holding above 2021 levels, right? 2021 lows, really, like, yeah, it's like holding out last year's lows, which is important because also, you know, this was also last year's lows up here. It's holding above. We did trade below them, so it kind of lets us know that some of these guys got stopped. So it kind of went back in time and took some traders out. What's going on now? I'm going to start with the deepest swing to see if we're getting a 50. Yeah, we see a 52, like a 50% retracement at 120, and then 120 holding again, just being more confluence. I think it's ready to rally. Especially if you get an up move out of BTC and Ether. If you get a continuation off yesterday's lows, I think 120 should be the stop loss on Litecoin, and then let it run to the upside. Thank you, Paris. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for asking. You guys, Bitcoins, Prashant, thank you guys for showing me some charts, some tickers on the tube. Let me cover GGPI for my dude on TradingView, and then I'll take on some of your YouTube tickers. All right, let's do a GGPI. What is this? What exchange? What are we looking at? Oh, it's on the NASDAQ. All right. Not familiar with this chart. First, I'm looking at it, and looks really interesting. Looks very bubbly, very altcoin-esque. Oh my God! Look at this. We got the top at 16.17 just by extending that range. Crazy how these magical fib lines work. If you don't think they work, hopefully I'm showing you that they do work. And if you do think they work, you want to learn more about them, follow the links and the link tree that I attached to our TradingView signature, right? Then you'll learn how to do everything I'm doing. All right, yeah, we got it almost spot on. And it's almost providing like a schematic for this chart. We see 15.98 resist, and we see the range trade here, support at 13.19, resistance at 12.23, right? And then this up move and resistance at 11. At this point, is it above a bearish 61.8 retracement? It's closing below. So until we get above 11.52, until we get above here, then I would think this is going to pull back a little more. Or maybe indefinitely. Where would I want to long this? I don't know what your positioning is. It's just my input. Like, where would I want to mess with a chart like this? Maybe on an intraday 61.8. It looks like it did. And this thing looks choppy, man. It looks. I'm not gonna use the M word. I'm not gonna say manipulated, but I don't even know anything about this company. That's the thing. Yeah, it's kind of doing stuck between 61.8s, right? I would say like long 11, flat, and short 11.50. It's a 50 cent range that it's stuck in. I hate that. So, yeah, if 1097 goes and we pull back a little deeper, and probably next levels would be 1071 or maybe like 945, 967. All right, looking at QS, QuantumScape. Man, this chart. And these guys are in a solid state batteries, right? They're trying to be the next thing for EV batteries, and Soros has a big stake in it. And I don't know if it's quite done selling. If you adjust that, we can make it look like it's done selling. Is there a bullish retrace here off this swing low to that swing high? The 50's holding. That's promising. I'm not going to call a turn on this. Now, if you do see a turn in like Tesla and you might see a sympathy turn, we might. I'm hesitant to call a turn on this. Things I'm confident calling a turn on, I'm like putting up on my Twitter and I'm highlighting. But I think 1521 should be support, right? Like it should be support. And if we break 14, then definitely gonna go into 10, and it's gonna look like shit. All right, ICP USDT. Huff Matt, Mr. Huff Matt, thank you. My pleasure, man. Thanks for joining the stream, and thank you for shilling me a ticker. ICP tether chart. I don't like this chart, man. Don't like it. Yeah, it could be wanting to pull back a little deeper. It could want to explore 11, right? I don't know what's moving it. I don't quite see a reason along this. Don't like it. I could try using the Harmonics scanner and see if you see Harmonic. Phantom likes it. Phantom thinks it's bottomed, right? It hasn't even given us a sell signal, but it did call bearish continuation here, and now it's calling for a long here. So if this holds, then possibly it is starting to move. Remove indicators. But one thing I like to do, right, is look for like these 61.8 continuations, and I don't see one here. If I wanted to like validate what I'm saying, I don't see one here, right? Like a dip to the 786, which is not the typical long I like to take, right? I like to get these good bounces off the red line. Let me move drawings. Let's go back to, let's run in the Harmonic scanner on a few charts. I'll do it on BTC, QQQ, and the majors, and then we'll call it a day if I don't get any more requests. You might see a bottom here. I don't know. I'm not gonna. No comment. There's not enough data really, or structure. It's not something that I like to trade. Right? So the scanner, we're gonna call this invalid because price broke a little lower. But like we did get that turn on the scanner right at 32.8. 32.955, right? Like we had that 4-point move, right? So I was signaling a possible reversal zone. 4 hour did the same thing. 120. I'm more interested in like what's happening here. Seeing a possible 3D, but it's kind of invalidated because we're seeing another high higher than the last one. The 60 hourly wants to go up a little higher. Not seeing any like major swings. Let's look at ES. Oh my goodness, that was like two perfect back-to-back harmonic trades, right? So we go from the bullish 8.0 to a bearish 5.0 right here, and then it next down, and it's at T1 right now, right? And T2's the dotted. So that's on the daily too. That's impressive. All right, let's move draw, and now we're seeing that like the fibs hold. So move drawings, going on like an hourly. Seeing a 4.120. If you guys want to try the scanner for yourself, you have a 7-day trial. You can get the link in our TradingView signature. All right, so you can get moves like this. AVAX USDT or AVAX USD. Let's look at Coinbase. I wouldn't say, oh, we're going to 155 because Saber's Harmonics saying we're going. That's not how it works, right? It's not. But once it gets up here, you want to find a reason to counter trade that PRZ. Looking at something like this, I'm gonna stick to my forte to start with. Let's just ignore the scanner for now. I'd be looking for bearish 61.8. Bam, 92, right? We didn't even get a close above. We got a wick above, a retest, and it just sold off. Now he's looking at 77, something like this. I think there's two ways to fib it, right? We had this channel and then this upwards break, and now a pullback. So we can, if we're looking for a continuation move, we got it, right? Like 76.53 was the low. It's doing just what Ether did. It's like literally same structure. In terms of the last few days price action is Ether. And it did a bearish 61.8, right, and a bullish 61.8. So at this point, we want to see if we get another bearish 61.8, which would be a little lower, right? And if it does, then I'd be hesitant to say bullish continuation. But if it doesn't and it breaks above, then I'd expect to retest to 92. And that's kind of what I'm looking for on several charts. And that's why I think times like this, when the market is staging for the next big move, whether it's an up break or a down break, it's important to hedge. To like, and what I mean by hedge is to like get a short position at a 61.8 and a long position at 61.8, like two different sub accounts. Just let the market decide, because you're not gonna know the direction every time, right? But if you have two open trades, one in each direction, and you let the market do the work and it takes out your stop, let it run, and you make money regardless. You don't have to know which way the market's going as long as you can position yourself right. And I think we're in one of those moments in history that's pretty rare, right, that we see those. So yeah. All right, fam bam, I've covered all y'all stickers. I've covered what I wanted to cover. I'm gonna call this stream a day. Thank you all for tuning in. It is Money Monday. I haven't posted entries in Discord just yet in terms of stocks, but all our stock market channels are open until market close. So if you want to like hop in, join us in some options trade on the indices, stocks, commodities, feel free to do so. There's all their links are in the link tree. So whether you want to join Discord, hang out with us, join the chat, check out the indicators, it's all there. Other than that, I'll be in Discord as always 24/7. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your ticker shells. Trade safe. Use stop losses. I'll catch you Wednesday, same time, same place.